Good afternoon, everyone. Coldest August morning in 21 years. Well, that's what the news headline says, but when you read deeper into it, all-time record set for cold. Headline's very deceiving. Also, as you peruse through the record cold across Victoria and extreme low temperatures, well, the season will be warmer than average for the south of Australia. Don't worry about it. We do generally get spells of cold between warmer than average weather. I'm glad you informed us of that. Thanks so much. Snow in Turkey in August, snow in Calgary in August. But notice how the media picks these very select tweets. Well, it snows every August. Forecasters in Spain talking about their winter. Area in blue highlighted. Where is that? Almeria. The backbone of the Spanish vegetable export. Forecast, record cold, smashing, freezing cold coming up this winter. Join me for mini Ice Age conversations, 30 minutes of analysis on what's happening, where we're going to, and how this is going to affect your life as the grand solar minimum intensifies 3 times weekly, anywhere you can find a podcast on the net. If you hadn't seen, Australia just received all-time record cold temperatures in Melbourne. Broke the cold record, all-time record of 1.9 degrees Celsius, shattered. That broke it down to 0.8. But by reading the news headline, Coldest August morning in 21 years, you never would have known that. Southeast shivers into spring. But if it would have been a heat headline, they would have rephrased it, I guarantee you. Heat record smashed heading into this season. But it's not. It's record cold, so they tried to, word it differently. And then reading through the article, you can see how other places just shivered. 10 degrees Celsius, below zero. Remember, 0 Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So when we start getting down into that range, we're getting into the teens Fahrenheit. Frost warnings across the entire state of Victoria. But not to worry, Weather Zone meteorologist G. Brittain says, it's not unusual to have fluctuating weather at the change of the season. Where's their all-time record cold in there somewhere in the statement? I guess it doesn't exist. Anyway, continuing on with the same statements, the season will be warmer than average for the southeast of Australia. Forget about the record cold temperatures. It's going to be warm. Don't worry about it. We do generally see spells of cold in between warmer than average weather. Well, I'm glad you told me that because you just broke the all-time record cold record set. But don't worry, it's going to be warmer than average coming up sometime. Looks like David Taylor was correct in his predictions of Australian cities seeing all-time record cold this Southern Hemisphere winter. And then moving into the very last paragraphs of the article, not the first ones where you think the news would be, after all the fluff and the propaganda, but at the very bottom, buried just before you link to the next articles, Sydney, coldest in 21 years. Perisher, coldest in 6 years, and I like that coldest August start in 19 years. You think that might be a little bit of news, but don't worry, it's going to be warmer than average. Coming up sometime, maybe. Now on to Turkey, August 30th. Snow falls again. Well, for me, it looks like a mix between snow and hail, but that's what they termed it in the media, snow in August. And I thought that's really interesting. We've seen so many August snowfalls across the United States, Europe, now Turkey. And here we go, Canada, Calgary. Now, I love the way the CBC pulls all these tweets. They had about 6 tweets in the article, and I encourage you to go look at it. I linked everything below in the description box. Carefully chosen tweets. Snow in the mountains, but it happens every August. Great, that's a lot of snow for a single snowfall. Do you see how much before that was 0 until these images here? That's an enormous amount of snow. Higher elevations already dusted with snowfall. Again, using the words dusting here that looks more than a foot to me. Tom Graham, amazing footage. Thank you for getting those shots. That just shows how much snow came down in these August snowfalls. But again, CBC right at it, choosing the very selected tweets. Alberta can get snow at any time of the year. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And over to Spain, because we've seen multiple years of vegetable losses across Spain, southern Europe during the wintertime. So that area in the blue circle is where we're focusing on for this report here. I had to use Google Translate to bring this up into English, but it's a forecaster calling for extreme rains, snow, and very cold conditions in the south, all the way down to the Canary Islands, no less. Featured in the blue circle by name in the cities. Now, this forecaster here, Jose Buitrago, uses very much what the Farmer's Almanac does. It takes clues from behavior of animals and plants to predict. People scoff at the Farmer's Almanac using cycles of the sun, cycles of the moon to predict the weather. Oh no, it's only CO2. But what Jose has predicted is these very areas right here in the blue circle to experience extreme weather in the beginning and middle of the winter. But then after that, it seems to taper out and get more, say, mild coming up in January, February, March. But going into this season, whoa, it looks like everything's going to be in a super freeze down there. And he even talks about fronts with snow and ice going all the way down to the Canary Islands. Now, why would this pique my interest? Well, it should pique your interest too, because Almeria, this is the #1 area in Spain where they grow vegetables for export to the rest of Europe during the winter season. 40%. And we've seen year-on-year losses, damage to the greenhouses, hail damage, wind damage, and now they're expecting extreme cold wind and hail and snow this time again this year. What do you think is going to happen with the already risen food prices? When you add this in, when you're expecting more losses on top of already losses, I hope you get the picture of where we're going here with our food production globally and why I keep bringing you this information on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and you are absolutely on your own because you see how the media is trying to mask the cold. Real predictors are saying more cold coming, and look out where the crops are going to be destroyed again this winter coming up. But if you like this type of information in a blog format, steamit.com/adapt2030. And remember, you're going to have to start growing some of your own foods. At least experiment at the very minimum with growing sprouts, microgreens in your house, and then move to the outdoor type of situation or put a greenhouse. Just try anything right now. Anything, because you're going to need it in the future. The Adapt2030 TrueLeafMarket.com link is below. Regardless if you buy anything, there's an enormous amount of information on how to start up sprouts, greens, microgreens. Go there first to get some knowledge. Whether you buy something or not, go get the knowledge.